Welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 675 for July 1 through 15, 2025. Uranus entering Gemini, one of 2025's most important events, highlights the first half of July. We also have a Capricorn full moon, Neptune and Saturn turning retrograde, Saturn influencing the Gods of Change mini Grand Trine, and more. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein. I record these forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so take your pick. The video version includes detailed chart graphics, which you can also see in my written forecasts at astroshaman.com. Be sure to subscribe to This Week in Astrology, and if you have not already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. Look for timestamps in the show notes so you can jump right to the day you want. As of July 1st, the moon is waxing, Pluto is retrograde, and we have 7 continuing aspect patterns. See details and links to all this in the show notes. Let's dive in. Wednesday, July 2nd. A committed partnership can be romantic, platonic, or business-focused. Those that align with your soul purpose receive harmonious support thanks to a Grand Trine that starts today, peaks on the 10th, and ends on the 18th. Juno, the goddess of committed partnership, represents this theme. The North Node represents soul purpose, and the Sun in Cancer can shine light into these relationships and help you make a resonant heart connection. On Friday, July 4th, Neptune turns retrograde at 5:33 p.m. EDT at 2 degrees Aries. The mystical planet will back into Pisces on October 22nd, then will turn direct again on December 10th. That'll be around 29 degrees Pisces. This is an excellent time to reflect on how well you're using Neptune's energies. On the high side, Neptune supports spiritual awakening and inspired creativity. He can help you operate in the zone more easily, work more skillfully with your dreams, and cultivate more unconditional love and compassion. Be careful not to energize Neptune's dark side. This can include substance abuse, addiction, aimless drifting, or acting as a victim. Neptune is not operating alone. We are in a once-in-a-lifetime period when Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are teaming up to create unimaginably potent challenges and opportunities. To learn about this Gods of Change mini Grand Trine, click the link in the show notes or go to astroshaman.com/godsofchange. On a 4-day period, Friday the 4th through Monday the 7th, everything Venus represents is supercharged as she aspects 4 slow planets in 4 days. Here are the aspects. On July 4th, Venus conjuncts Uranus. On the 6th, Venus sextiles Saturn and Neptune. And on July 7th, Venus trines Pluto. Venus can represent any important relationship. She also represents creativity, aesthetic appreciation, and finances. Each of the planets aspecting Venus can have a variety of effects as their energies merge with hers. Here are a few good ways to work with them. Uranus can help you get intuitive hits and make breakthroughs. Saturn supports stability and productivity. Neptune boosts creative inspiration and divine union. Finally, Pluto can boost your power and sexual pleasure. Venus is in Gemini for most of these aspects. This encourages you to enjoy variety and experimentation in these areas. It's also a great time to focus your mind on these themes, since Gemini is the most mental sign. On Monday, July 7th, our headline event, Uranus enters Gemini at 3:47 a.m. EDT. This is one of 2025's most important astrology events. The planet of uniqueness will make one return visit to Taurus on November 7th. Then he'll settle into Gemini for about 7 years on April 25th, 2026. Here are 5 negative-positive pairings for Uranus and Gemini. Watch out for the negatives and focus on the positives. Negative. Nervous restlessness and overstimulation can keep your mind racing. Positive. Delighting in mental novelty and stimulation leads to exciting interests and curiosity, along with a love for hobbies, games, and puzzles. These often result in sudden new ideas. Negative. Impractical ideas can lead to erratic thinking and a lack of focus. This can cause unreliability and inconsistency. Positive. Intellectual independence, originality, and inventiveness foster flexibility and openness to new ideas. These qualities lead to reason, foresight, and the perception of higher truths. Belief in the rational intelligibility of the world brings sudden liberation of the mind or senses. Exciting intellectual breakthroughs and insights follow, along with vision and inspiration. Negative. Making quick, premature judgments or dropping comments out of the blue, paired with too much talking and lack of tact, can lead to upsetting surprises. An excessive need for intellectual autonomy, mental pride, and stubbornness can lead you to glorify intelligence. You might also have a high and mighty opinion of yourself as brilliant or gifted. Positive. Receiving intuitive flashes from your higher self can help you appreciate its vastly superior brilliance, which no human could ever equal. Realizing that your greatest insights come from this more awakened aspect, not your human intellect, can give you a truer perspective and increase your humility. These intuitive hits can also tell you when it's best to speak or remain silent. Negative. You feel overwhelmed by a chaotic flood of information and misinformation. With AI's rapidly improving ability to convincingly imitate writing styles, images, voices, and video, it keeps getting harder to tell what is and is not authentic. Positive. Your higher self always knows what's authentic. Develop a clear channel of communication with it and ask it whenever you need to know if something is genuine. Negative. Life feels overwhelmingly chaotic. Positive. Ongoing surprises and anomalies bring unexpected information and surprising synchronicities to guide you. This lets you take pleasure in surfing the shifting waves and currents of these unpredictable times. Uranus is the last of the three outer planets to enter a new air or fire sign. Neptune is in Aries and Pluto is in Aquarius. Since air and fire are compatible elements, this helps these gods of change interact more potently. Air and fire are also the masculine elements. This makes it easier for you to get in gear and make things happen. To learn more about the multi-year earth-shaking mini Grand Trine that the three outer planets are making, click the link in the show notes or go to astroshaman.com/gods of change. By the way, big thanks to the extraordinary astrologer Ren Butler. Much of this Uranus and Gemini interpretation is based on content from his amazing book, The Archetypal Universe, which I enthusiastically recommend. On Tuesday, July 8th, your mental abilities can be magically enhanced as Mercury quintiles Uranus. Mercury, 12 Leo, Uranus, 0 Gemini. Mercury represents human mind, while Uranus represents divine mind. And the quintile connecting them can feel like fairy dust. With Mercury in Leo, this aspect can also inspire your work as a leader or entertainer. On Thursday, July 10th, a full moon illuminates the sky at 4:37 p.m. EDT. That's at 18 degrees, 50 minutes Capricorn. Any Capricorn full moon is great for release or adjustment in several areas. These include maturity, time management, and skillful execution of your plans. Capricorn energy can also help you act wisely, take appropriate time for yourself, and deal with business matters. Aspects. This full moon's strongest aspects are subtle, tight quintiles to Saturn and Neptune. The 72-degree quintile, 1/5 of the circle, has a magical quality, and its effects can feel like a sprinkling of fairy dust. Saturn and Neptune, only 1/3 of a degree apart in Aries, can join forces to provide 4 helpful outcomes. For starters, they can empower the law of attraction. I have that linked in the show notes. This is because Neptune rules visualization while Saturn excels at crystallization. As you hold the specific vision of what you want, they can help you make it real. This planetary duo can also help with embodied awakening. In this context, Neptune represents spiritual awakening, while Saturn brings it into your 3D experience. My free embodied awakening invocation helps thousands live in this exquisite state of consciousness. Spiritual awakening is so much easier when you have your higher self simply give it to you as a gift. There's more on that with the link in the show notes, or you can just go to astroshaman.com/invocations to learn more about this. These two planets can also combine to provide practical Saturn inspiration, Neptune. The final Saturn-Neptune opportunity is conscious dissolution. Saturn represents the structure you want to dissolve or transform, and the ocean god Neptune is the water washing it away. This full moon's other two aspects involve asteroid goddesses. A square with Ceres, the grain goddess, can help you boost your abundance. Ceres is also a shadow work planet, so you might have some challenging emotions come up. To quickly and effectively heal past traumas, check out my free healing invocation. And that's also linked in the show notes, and same link I gave a moment ago, astroshaman.com/invocations will get you there. Finally, a Juno sextile can help bring harmony to your committed partnerships. For tips on how to do this, see my relationship post, which is linked in the show notes. This full moon's Sabian symbol is a child of about 5 carrying a huge shopping bag filled with groceries. This symbol encompasses abundance, Ceres, and responsibility, Capricorn. Abundance is represented by the huge bag of groceries. Responsibility is having to carry this heavy burden on your back and making sure it gets safely home. Taken broadly, this image represents everyone. Our human lifetime gives us a cornucopia of potential abundance, but managing it skillfully can be a huge responsibility. This can feel overwhelming, especially in these chaotic times. This full moon's Saturn-Neptune quintile offers some ideas on how to manage this. Maintaining embodied awakening will help you stay calm and will make it easier to receive divine inspiration to guide you. And with the flow state it brings, you can more easily just know what to do instead of having to think about it. Also on July 10th, the Sun-Juno North Node Grand Trine that started on the 2nd peaks today and ends on the 18th. I'll be right back with the rest of the forecast, including Saturn turning retrograde and how Saturn is now an important part of the world-shaking Gods of Change mini Grand Trine. Would you like to speed up your healing and awakening as part of an uplifting community of dedicated awakeners like you? Then check out Awakening Plus, my affordable online membership that can put your personal transformation into high gear. You can choose from about a dozen Zoom calls every month, as well as an ever-expanding archive of more than 800 events that can profoundly change your life. This extraordinary membership also gives you 24/7 community connection and personal support. You'll also benefit from 6 courses and much more to help you awaken, heal, and thrive. To find out more, click the link in the show notes or visit awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com. On Sunday, July 13th, Saturn turns retrograde at 12:07 a.m. EDT at 2 degrees Aries. He'll turn direct again on November 27th at 25 degrees Pisces. This is a great time to reflect on how well you embody Saturn's positive qualities. We've covered these a couple of times in this episode, but here we go again. Do you manage your time well? Are you acting maturely and responsibly? Can you plan the work and work the plan? What about Saturn's dark side? Are you working so hard that you're neglecting your family or personal life? Is excessive ambition causing you to close your heart or be cold and ruthless? The portion of Saturn's retrograde in Aries lasts through September 1st at 4:05 a.m. EDT. During this period, focused effort, patience, and mindful action can transform obstacles into accomplishments, especially when paired with practical skills and steady follow-through. A calm, non-aggressive mindset can foster action without clinging to results. Saturn in Aries can also help you heal deep trauma, helping you release fear through spiritual practices and conscious emotional processing. Saturn completes his retrograde in Pisces, September 1st through November 27th. This placement can help you make better use of the law of attraction and deepen your practical spiritual awakening. Saturn in Pisces also supports conscious dissolution, which can help you clear things from your life that have outlived their usefulness. As a bonus, Saturn is conjunct Neptune throughout his retrograde. Since Neptune has the same archetypal energies as Pisces, this conjunction further empowers these Piscean possibilities. While we're talking about Saturn, let me give you some important information I should have included in my previous forecast. I'll set the larger stage first and then show you Saturn's role. The most important astrology event of this decade is a mini Grand Trine with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. I mentioned this already in this episode. These three outer planets, known as the gods of change, are the most potent game changers in astrology. It's front page news when any one of them steps into the spotlight. When all three combine their power, as they are now, it's historic. How historic? These gods of change have not come together this powerfully since the American Revolution. That was over 250 years ago. And they won't be this strong again for another 170 years. This is quite literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A mini Grand Trine is a harmonious aspect pattern, which can make it easier to create life-affirming outcomes. But its flowing trine and sextiles cannot stop these planets' darker energies from manifesting. Examples of this include the heartless aggression, chaotic behavior, and autocratic impulses of the Trump administration, the lethal suffering Israel is inflicting on the people of Gaza, and Russia's unrelenting war in Ukraine. However, grim political realities need not stop you from using this mini Grand Trine's positive potentials. It can help you magnificently transform yourself and the world around you. In fact, our challenging global situation could be exactly what's needed for a dramatic shift into a more harmonious and awakened reality. And now Saturn's in the mix. He's conjunct Neptune right in the center of this aspect pattern. Saturn joined the gods of change mini Grand Trine on April 11, and his four-planet version of this aspect pattern had its first peak on June 10th. This mini Grand Trine with Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto will peak again on February 22nd of 2026 and end on April 16th of 2026. By the way, the version without Saturn will persevere until mid-2030. Saturn brings challenge, delays, and obstructions where they are needed for personal and collective growth. We're certainly seeing plenty of that. In his darker expressions, Saturn can be cold, calculating, and heartless. He can believe that the end justifies the means, however horrible they may be. But Saturn can also help you be mature, wise, and responsible. As I've said already, he can help you plan the work and work the plan and manage your time well. And he can be a paragon of productivity. His conjunction with Neptune adds additional possibilities. As noted earlier, these include more effective law of attraction manifestation and easier attainment of embodied awakening. This Saturn-Neptune conjunction also empowers conscious dissolution, as I've mentioned earlier. For more helpful information about this Gods of Change mini Grand Trine, click the link in the show notes, or once again, you can go to astroshaman.com/gods of change. Also on July 13, relationships and creativity that align with your soul purpose are energized by a T-square that starts today, peaks on the 22nd, and ends on the 30th. It includes Venus, Mars, and the lunar nodes. Venus carries the core meanings of relating and creating. Her square with Mars energizes and amplifies these themes. The presence of the lunar nodes makes it easier to do this in a way that supports your life purpose. With Venus in Gemini, try to connect with a variety of appropriate people and enjoy more diversity in your creative expression. Mars placement in Virgo can help you be of greater service and take what you're doing to a higher level of refinement. On Monday, July 14, in yesterday's forecast, I described how Saturn is adding additional power and meaning to the Gods of Change mini Grand Trine. Today, this enhanced aspect pattern is further illuminated as the Sun joins with it to form a cradle. This cradle starts today on July 14, peaks on the 24th, and ends on the 31st. This harmonious aspect pattern includes the Sun, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. The Sun further empowers all the potentials of the other planets by shining its light on them. Since the Sun is the core of personality, it also makes it easier for you to embody the tremendous potential of these slower planets. Also, on July 14, trauma healing is powerfully supported by a T-square with the Sun, Chiron, and Pluto. It starts today, peaks on the 22nd, and ends on the 29th. Chiron Energized in Aries is the wounded healer. He's the planet most explicitly associated with shadow work. Pluto, lord of the underworld, where old trauma is buried, also potently embodies this theme. Most people shy away from facing their unhealed emotional pain. However, feeling it one last time is the only way to heal it once and for all. Thankfully, my free healing invocation can make this process much quicker and easier than you might have thought possible. Once again, linked in the show notes and at astroshaman.com/invocations. This T-square can also support you if you want to step out as a healer yourself. That's because the sun is in Leo for the second half of this aspect pattern, supporting your role as a leader. In this scenario, you embody Chiron's role of healer and use Pluto to empower your healing service. Tuesday, July 15. Do you make the most meaningful growth when things are purring along smoothly or when you have to overcome challenges? Isn't it during the more difficult times? You could have opportunities to improve your relationships and creative expression as Venus, Mars, and Pluto form a Thor's hammer. This intense aspect pattern starts today on the 15th, peaks on the 20th, and ends on the 24th. With Venus in Gemini, try a variety of problem-solving approaches until you find one that works. Mars in Virgo carries a similar message. Keep refining your approach until it serves you optimally. In relationship healing, seek solutions that serve both you and your partner. For dealing with relationship challenges, you may find some of the ideas in my relationship post helpful. It's linked in the show notes. All right, what's coming up in my next forecast, which will be July 16 to 31? Mercury is going to turn retrograde on July 18. That will be at 12:45 a.m. EDT. We'll have a Leo new moon. Chiron's turning retrograde. Venus will be square Mars, and Mercury will be joining that Gods of Change mini Grand Trine. Be sure to tune in next time for all that and more. I'm delighted to share this 5-star Amazon review from Laurel Spring titled, "It Works, Best Book Ever." She said, "I have spent years on spiritual searching. This popped up on Amazon and I thought I'd give it a try. This worked so fast. After I did the invocation, I experienced the deepest state of awakening I have ever experienced. I have meditated for hours and tried long methods with minimal results. This worked in seconds. Since I have started using this, my life has totally improved." End quote. Thank you, Laurel Spring. The complete title of my #1 bestseller is Instant Divine Assistance, Your Complete Guide to Fast and Easy Spiritual Awakening, Healing, and More. It's available in 4 different formats: ebook, audiobook, paperback, and hardcover for as little as $3.99. It's also in Kindle Unlimited. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to astroshaman.com/book. Thank you for being here. Once again, I am Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, one-of-a-kind life coaching, and deep dive trauma healing. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn all about this and more at astroshaman.com. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is benjamin@astroshaman.com, and my number for voice and text is 828-338-9852. I'd love to connect with you. We are wrapping up. If I've earned it, please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode to help others discover it. Thanks again for spending this time with me. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.